All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I like to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, His only begotten Son, call Halayim La Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakakwadash. All right, double honor to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, Rude Tishwell, Wabarakathum to hopeful elect. All right, I'll take through the spirit, to go into a video entitled Men Being Drafted as Prophetic. Right, men drafted to war, is prophetic. Right, and we see they had that legislative act pushed, to where they would make men have to be in selective service, right? Coming in, and we're coming into it to the end of this year in December of 2026, right? Where men that are going to be, when you come up here, where is it? 18 to 25 will have to be in selective service. Now, this is Fox 11, Los Angeles. Okay, it was published, I believe this is yesterday. Okay. Now, this is just steps moving toward it. But we know that men are actually going to have to get sent off to war. All right. And it says, if implemented, how would the draft work? It says, according to the selective service, the draft, if implemented, would have similarities to that of the Vietnam War. Right. It says that means that the selective service will most likely hold a draft lottery based on the dates of birth. The number one will correspond to January 1st. It says 15 to January 1st, 15th. You see? It says January 1st. It says 15 to January, and then 15, it says, etc. It says officials will draw numbers similar to drawing numbers for a lottery. If your birthday is the first one drawing, you are the first to be drafted. Right? According to the selective service, if a draft were held today, those who were 20 years old or turning 20 during that year in which the numbers are being drawn will be the first to go. Right? Beginning in January 1st of the year, eligible male turns 21. He will drop into the second priority category, and men born in the following year will drop into the priority group 1. Each succeeding year, a draft eligible man drops into the next lower priority group until he has reached his 26th birthday, at which time he is over the age of liability for the draft. Okay, so that's real similar to what it broke down how it would be with the with Vietnam, how it was what they did with the Vietnam War. You see, but at the end of the day, we're moving steps towards this because it's prophetic that it's going to be men that are going to be forced into battle, and also these men are going to die in this battle, right? And this battle is going to be the battle of Armageddon, where all these nations and all these people, all these military people are going to be gathered to what is the Valley of Yahweh Shaphat, right? And the Valley of Yahweh Shaphat is over there, in that Fertile Crescent, that whole, Iran, between Iraq area by the Euphrates, all that whole area. Those nations are going to be over there, and a lot of these men that are in the military, they're going to get gathered there to try and fight against the Lord, because when Yahweh Shah returns, it's going to be death here in Babylon the Great, and then it's going to be that fight over there in the Valley of Yahweh Shaphat happening as well. You see, and a lot of men are going to get forced into that battle. Okay, so I want to go into some precepts to prove that. And this is not going to be a long lesson. This is more of a to-the-point lesson, to-the-point video. All right? Hit the points. Okay, and this chapter right here goes into the judgment of the women of Israel. Right? Isaiah, the 3rd chapter. You see the daughters of Zion. It speaks about how the Lord, is judging the daughters of Zion. Okay? It describes their whole judgment, but one of their judgments is right here. This is Isaiah 3:25. It says, thy men shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war. Okay, and it says, and their gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. Because most of these women, like a lot of these women who are all proud, who are with these niggas in the world, you see, or they are benefiting off of these men, they're going to be in the spirit, they're going to become, what's the word I'm looking for? They're going to become widows, man. Have no husband at all. You see, it's going to be a scarcity of real men, or men that have the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Washah working with them to be delivered. It's going to be a shortage of men that are like that, right? And that's why that's why you have prophecies like Isaiah 4:1. It says, and in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, right? And that can be a completion number. 7 can mean, when scripture says 7, it means like a completion, right? So that can be 100 women wanting to be with one man, right? It says, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name. It says to take away our reproach, right? To be ultimately, like when it says take away to let us be called by thy name, that means to marry them. And marriage is by the act of sex. And then a woman will take the last name of the man. All right. And women are going to be trying to do that with the true believers, the elect men of Israel. Okay. But these regular niggas in the world, especially these niggas that's call themselves high value men and all that shit, they're going to get brought into that war. They're going to be forced in a battle, and they're going to lose that battle very badly. You see, this is 2 Ezra 16:33. It says, the virgin shall mourn having no bridegrooms. The women shall mourn having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. In the war shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. These niggas that's in the world that ain't serving the Lord, the scriptures say, because thou hast made the Most High thy refuge, there shall no plagues come nigh thy dwelling. All right, the Lord's going to make sure his servants eat. My servants shall eat. My servants shall be merry and have abundance. But these niggas in the world are not serving the Lord. So a lot of them are going to be put to death, man. And a lot of these women are going to be left out there with nothing. You see, no hedge of protection. And they're going to be seeking that. And the only way they're going to have the hedge of protection is by what? Trying to get with a man that the Lord is dealing with. You see, but these men are going to be dying in this war. Okay? Because they're trying to fight. Ultimately, really, the big battle is going to be against the Lord. World War III is happening, but eventually these nations are going to realize that there's a bigger threat, and that bigger threat is going to be Yahweh Shah when he returns. You see? And I want to jump up here because it said that it just said that their husband's going to die in famine. Well, check this out. This is 2 Ezra 16, and we're jumping up to verse 22. It says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine. And this is a vision that Ezra was seeing. Right? It says, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. The second death, they're going to get burnt up by the missiles, ICBM nuclear warheads, and those chariots beaming and will raise the light. You see, this is all prophecy, man, at the end of the day. All right, and all these guys that are in that spirit of trying to build on this side, they're going to get caught up in this judgment, man. And they're going to fulfill this prophecy right here like we're reading about. Just dying in a war or perishing of famine. You see, let's get the last one I had. This is a quick hit, man. Jeremiah 51 in verse 30, it says, the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might have failed. They have become as women. They have burnt their dwelling places. Her bars are broken. And that's how these men are going to be. They're going to be like women, scared. You see? That's how bad it's going to be when Jacob's trouble is happening too. You know, men are going to be scared and feared because strange operations going to be out. Yahweh shall return. The chariots beam and raise the light. It's going to be missiles being flown around. All right. It's going to be all out chaos. And these niggas are not going to have a hedge of protection. A lot of them are going to be brought into this war. And then they're going to be forced to fight. You see, and it's going to be a battle that's impossible to win. You see? So that's the point I wanted to go into in this quick video, man. You see all these people that are going to the military and that are about to get drafted, which we see we're in the beginning stages of it right now, right? You're gonna die in that battle, man. But that's the point I wanted to go into. You know that draft is prophetic, man. But Lord willing, you edified and gave exhortation. I like to end it all by saying, call hello Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rukakwadash. All right, the words to the apostles, the elders, great millstone, room teach world. To next